Okay, this is another case where a male writer gets zapped by someone, female in particular, and he's a gay man, of course. So all you LGBT, all you gay men in the LGBT know where you stand there. Report Doctor Who writer Gareth Roberts dumped by BBC Books for stance on transgenders. See, the transgenders issues, they're really just used to attack men with. Gareth Roberts, a writer for the popular Doctor Who TV series that aired on BBC, saw his upcoming Doctor Who short story removed from the BBC Books anthology. Roberts claims his short story was removed from the anthology because a number of Doctor Who fans agitated for his removal. Were they a large group? Like if he has lots of fans and they only represent like 2%, who they shouldn't do this to him. He wrote on Medium about his short story being removed from the anthology. I was commissioned by the BBC Books to write a short story for an anthology of Doctor Who stories. I've written several Doctor Who's episodes for TV. Oh, wow. So the guy has experience and has proven himself. And many Doctor Who books for BBC Books and for Virgin, the previous license holder for the Doctor Who fiction. I completed and submitted the work. The publication of the book and its authors was not intended to be announced until early June. Some details, including my contribution, were leaked accidentally. I don't believe it was accident. I don't really personally believe it was an accident. So he was given a heads up. At this point, a section of the Doctor Who fandom, yes, probably a small one, agitated for my removal. Also, some of the other contributing authors to the book, I don't know who, why doesn't he know who? Threatened to withdraw if I was involved. Notice these people don't ever show their faces. Like if they had an issue with him, why didn't they just come to him personally? If they were one of the writers, right? And maybe he could correct his position. Of course, because this isn't about the issue they say it's about. It's just about getting rid of a guy, taking away. BBC Books immediately folded to these demands, and I was informed that although I would be paid, my short story would not be published, as they judged, wrongly in my opinion, he is right, that a potential boycott would make the book economically unviable. First of all, they'd have to prove that the fans were big enough number that it'd make a difference, right? And I doubt that. But the second point, which is just as important, is that Doctor Who is becoming unviable anyway. The show is being destroyed by feminists. So that they've driven away the male fans, any of the ones that have self-respect. So this has nothing to do whether it's economically unviable or not. Roberts then shared an image of an offering tweet, which he claims was the cause for the Doctor Who fans to agitate for his removal. I love how trannies choose names like Monroe, Paris, and Chelsea. It's never Julie or Bev, is it? It's almost like a clueless gay boy's idea of a glamorous lady. But of course, it's definitely not that. I got to admit that Monroe sounds more like a man's name than a woman's name to me. But I mean, all he's doing is critiquing their name choices. So they're taking whatever they can get to get rid of this guy, because the point was to get rid of this guy. On Medium, Gareth details some of his experiences as a gay man back in the 1980s, of course. So he's been around forever, and he's worked through merit and had talent to write good Doctor Who stories, and even wrote for TV episodes. And this is what he's getting. Gareth, this is what you're getting. You've been shown to be a loyal man to the LGBT, and they're turning on you because the gender KKK doesn't care that you're gay. It's never been about your orientation, ever. He specifically notes that as a member of the London lesbian and gay teenage group, We refer to ourselves and each other as queers, trannies, and dykes. See that, Gareth? Like, you thought that these people were on your side, but you're not. Any more than a black man is on the side of the KKK. Roberts would then declare his position on gender identity. Big mistake. I don't believe in gender identity. It is impossible for a person to change their biological sex. I don't believe anybody is born in the wrong body. I think it's wrong to falsely write a falsehood into law, compel people by law to speak words they do not believe. He's right about that. Rewrite the law to remove women's biological sex-based rights and protections. He's wrong about this. They are sex-based privileges that men lack. So I can disagree with him and I can argue with this guy. But I wouldn't fight to get him removed from a position, right? So the people that supposedly are on his side, they definitely did. Reinforce gender stereotypes, medicalize children who don't want to conform to gender stereotypes. That's it. Okay, so he's definitely on the side of gay and lesbians. But you see this, they're using their trans attack dogs to get at him. Gareth doesn't end it there. He notes that he doesn't believe in his view should be protected. Really? I don't believe my view should be protected either. People must be protected. Ideas must never be. Gareth, in order to protect people, you have to protect ideas like fair play, like justice in society, like equality between the sexes. Equality between the sexes is an idea that has to be upheld. So sorry, you were just wrong. I would ask the writers who objected to my inclusion in the same book as them to reflect on that. So he's begging now. He's begging. This is pathetic. He still thinks these people are on his side. One of the writers behind Gareth Roberts' blacklisting claims to be a fellow contributor to the upcoming anthology volume, Susie Day. Susie Day. Let's check out who Susie Day is. There she go. There you go. Attractive young woman who probably does not have Garrett's career. She has contributed a lot less. Of course, she's got into a position of authority and she's using it to oust Garrett. The children's book author had some choice words to describe Roberts. She claimed him an awful human being who should be experienced consequences for his views. Okay. So this is how it's done, everyone. Trans issues is the key to, they took what that guy said. It was fairly harmless at first about the trannies, and they're using it as an excuse to oust him. Thank you for saying this. I do understand why people have concerns about artistry, about free speech. I don't believe her, but no one's entitled to write for DW or any kind of job, any other kind of job, really, any other kind of job. And I think there should be consequences for being an awful human being. So you can't protect free speech and then punish a person. If this guy gives his opinion and he gets punished, then it's not free speech, is it? Now, I mean, I agree to a certain degree. I think people should be punished for saying awful things. But Susie Day, I mean, what are some of the things she says? By the way, there's a lot of women, the TERFs and the LGBT, that, they agree with Gareth. So before this goes on, there should be an actual outcome, a fight between and it'd be these people that disagree. So tell me, any of these lesbians, these hardcore TERFs, are they still a part of the LGBT, or are they ousted? So, since Doctor Who writers blogged about it, I'm a contributor who questioned GR's inclusion in the anthology on account of him being a vocal transphobe, among some other views he found in Bin. I don't know if any of the other writers were involved. So, this young woman is using this opportunity to get rid of this guy. And you'll know it if the person who replaces him, if there is a replacement, is another young woman like her. When I signed up to the project, I only knew him as a DW TV writer. When the contributor list leaked, I learned his conclusion was incredibly hurtful to trans fans and why. Being involved felt like a tacit endorsement of his views. Big nope. It's incredible how J.K. Rowling's, they can't take anything away from her, can they? In case it needs saying, I support trans people. I believe in trans people. I will fight for my trans friends and families and rights to be themselves as much as I do my own right to be a lovely cis gay lady. There you go. Cis gay lady. She's a lesbian. See that, gay men? That's what you get from the lesbians. This guy's views, by the way, don't hurt trans whatsoever. He doesn't advocate for them not transitioning, is he? He, at worst, all he did was criticize their name choices they had. He's not against stopping them from making those choices. I raised my concerns and said if he was in, I was out. I don't share a platform with bigots, including ones that say it's all bans before restating their bigotry. I fully expected to be ditched. His name in this world. I'm not. He's a name in this world. But you see, I don't know if she did because I don't think she believed it. And the reason I don't, because this is the outcome I expected. This young woman is a young woman and therefore has privilege over men. And this has been shown again and again that men with experience, with things to offer, that got to their positions through merit and long time, their careers are tossed for these young women who've accomplished nothing. BBC Books made their decision. I'm grateful they took the opportunity to demonstrate that transphobic views have no place in Whoniverse, both the inside and out of the stories. I didn't realize the Whoniverse was part of the LGBT. I thought it was just for everybody. Of course, this is sarcasm. Of course, the feminist has taken over, so it's just for women now. And of course, these trans tack dogs think they're a part of it, and they aren't, because who gained from this? Thank you, everyone who spoke so honestly about why this mattered to them and for continuing to do so today. Did you ask all the fans, not just one section, all of them what they thought? If there was a poll, maybe a lot of Whovians agreed with Gareth Roberts. A lot of people in the LGBT agree with Gareth Roberts. So why should they get, how come they're not saying? Because this is what it is. These young women get rid of the men. They get into positions of authority and they get rid of the men. And this is how they do it. They use these trans attack dogs who are definitely willing to be their attack dogs. And they get rid of these guys. And this is how it's done. And these guys like Gareth Roberts, of course, he's going to get gone because he's never, I'm sure, willing to admit what's going on, that this is about a battle between the sexes. It's not even a battle, because that would suggest men are fighting. This is women coming in, gaining positions of authority, then ousting and ostracizing the men. And so as if he wants to protect himself as a gay man, he has to protect himself as a man and say, yes, people do need protection, Roberts, but the ideas, like the ideas of real equality and justice, have to be protected. Mr. Roberts, thanks. And I think this is all we need to say about this.